I hope you all are doing well. We're going to look at chapter 15 today, chromosomal basis of inheritance. What's really interesting is that microscopy as a science really took off. And then finally in 1875, because we had better microscopes, we were able to visualize mitosis. In the 1890s, meiosis. And in 1902, Sutton, Bouvier, etc. developed the chromosomal theory of inheritance. And what they said was specific genes are located on specific chromosomes. And this theory of Sutton's was supported by work that Morgan did in the early 1900s with the fruit fly. Now the fruit fly is really good for genetic studies because they produce many offspring. They have a generation time very, very quickly, every 2 weeks, and they only have 4 pairs of chromosomes, so it's not quite as complicated to study. The wild type, remember, are the normal phenotypes that are common in a population. When we use the term mutant phenotypes, that means that there has been a change in the DNA sequence, and these organisms possess a phenotype that has traits that are alternates to the wild type. Now, in humans and mammals, we have 2 types of sex chromosomes, and I'm sure you probably remember. Females are XX, males are XY. The X is larger than the Y, but there are short segments at the Y ends that are homologous with some segments of X, so they still behave like a homologous pair during meiosis in males. The SRY gene, which stands for sex-determining region on the Y, is responsible for the development of testes in the embryo. Anytime we talk about a sex-linked gene, we're talking about a gene located on either sex chromosome. Y-linked genes are found on the Y. Many of the genes on the Y are actually related to sex because the Y only holds 78 genes that code for about 25 proteins. Now, X-linked genes are found on the X. The X is so much bigger that there are actually 1,100 genes plus or minus a few, and many of those are unrelated to sex. X-linked recessive disorders are more common in males than females. And you might remember when we were doing genetics, looking at X-linked problems. And remember, in order for females to have an X-linked disorder, it has to be inherited on both of their X chromosomes. Whereas for males, it only has to be inherited on one, because that's all they've got, one X and one Y. These include things such as color blindness, Duchenne muscular dystrophy, and hemophilia, the bleeding disease. In female mammals, interestingly enough, one of the 2 X's out of each cell randomly is inactivated during embryonic development and condenses into what is called a bar body. So, if a female is heterozygous for a gene located on an X, the female will be what is called a mosaic. Because remember, the inactivation of the X is going to be random. So some cells will have the gene and some will not. It's another complexing problem. Linked genes are located on the same chromosome. And because they're located on the same chromosome, they're automatically going to be inherited together. In other words, they are an exception to independent assortment. You can't very well assort independently during meiosis